Good morning, children. So, I see your names. මම අද ටුට්ටක් විනාඩි කිහිපයක් කලින් දැම්මා ස්ට්‍රීම් එක. Good morning, Chanitya. තව කවුද ඉන්නේ? කොහොමද කට්ටිය නිදිද පුතේ? So by last week we have finished up to composite functions, right? Today is the last topic of the functions. It is the basic theory of functions, right? ඕකොලොන්ට මේ පාඩමේ functions පාඩම මම දන්න ටිකක් අමාරුයි. ඒක අන්තිම දවසද, right? From here onwards, the things will be somewhat normal. Hmm? Right. So our new topic is we are going to see inverse functions. Last day we discussed, last 2 days in fact, we discussed composite functions. Today, inverse functions. But we can't introduce inverse functions at once. Before that, there are 2 terms that we have to introduce, right? Before inverse functions. Under this, we will first introduce 2 terms. Number 1, one-to-one functions. One-to-one functions. And the notation is one-to-one functions. Right. Right. What are one-to-one functions? You remember at the very beginning of functions, we define functions. Good morning, Vimutu. Take 2 non-empty sets A and B. Two non-empty sets A and B. Connect the elements of A with elements of B via some rule there. We said under some 2 conditions, it is a functions. The 2 conditions were that we introduced at the very beginning. Each and every element of this domain should be connected to some element in the codomain via the rule F. That's number 1. Rule number 1. Rule number 2. In other words, there can't be elements left out in the domain, right? Rule number 2. No element in A, no element in the domain can be connected to 2 elements on the other side in the codomain, right? So no element in the domain can be connected to 2 elements in the codomain. So that's how we started at the very beginning, right? So in that sense, this is a function. In this diagram, F is a function. Okay, I'm drawing another. I'm drawing another function This is the function g, right? According to our requirements, good morning, Sandali. Uh, Under our conditions, this g is also a function, right? So g is a function. G is also a function, right? Now look at these two carefully. Both of them are functions. See, if you notice any difference between them, both of them are functions. Do you notice any difference between them? රෑන කමෙන්ට් බලනවත් දන්නේ නැහැ කට්ටිය. රෑ 12ට නේ ඉවර වෙන්නේ LPL. එලා උදේ පරක් වෙනකන් නිදා ගන්නවා. Right. Now answer my question. Uh, both of them are functions. Do you notice any difference between them? If so, what is it? In F, 2 has gone to 1. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Here in F, you see two elements, say x1 and x2. Two distinct elements, x1, x2, one. The other. Two distinct elements, x1 and x2, yeah, goes to the same y. But in this, you don't see anything like that. And still, they are functions, right? They are functions. In this, in other words, fx1, you input x1, you get some result y, say y1, even y1, and you input x2, the output will be the same. So fx1 and fx2 are same, right? Yeah. But in this function, you don't see any distinct elements. We see that no two distinct elements map into the same. Here, for no x1, x2, fx1 is equal to fx2. It's not fx1 is not equal to fx2 for any x1, x2 belong to the domain, right? For any two distinct elements, the images are distinct here. When we think no two elements, in this we see some two elements going to the same in the codomain. Here, no two elements in the domain go to the same element in the codomain. So, this type of functions we say are one-to-one functions, right? So this is not a one-to-one function, not one-to-one. This is a one-to-one function. A one-to-one function. Right, so formally saying, now we will define it formally. Consider a function g goes from c to d, you input x, which outputs gx, right? If gx1, this has to be g, right? Gx1 is not equal to gx2 for any pair of x1, x2. Good morning, Hansamali. Yasoda Hansamali. Right. I'm asking question again. If here you said gx1 is not equal to gx2 for any distinct uh, x1, any distinct elements x1, x2 in the domain. So in other words, if I say gx1 equals gx2, then this can happen only under one condition. In this function, gx1 can be equal to gx2 only under one condition. What is that? If gx1 equals gx2, gx1 equals gx2, then there is something should happen necessarily in a function like this. Gx1 equals gx2 only when, what is the requirement for the function g? Gx1 equals gx2 only when Chamitya saying y1 equals y2. Not y1 equals y2. In function g, if you get gx1 equals gx2, then necessarily Chamitya, x1 equals x2. Yeah, correct. No two distinct elements mapping to the same. If gx1 equals gx2, then x1 should be equal to x2. Chamitya, got that? Then x1 should be equal to x2. Then us then එක තැනකට යන්න බෑ. එකම තැනට ගියා නම් x කෙනාම වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? So no two distinct elements going to the same. Right. So under this condition, right, we say so I have this implies x1 equals x2. We say g is a one-to-one function. G is a one-to-one function. It is denoted by notation is one-to-one. One-to-one. Not 1:1, right? It is 1-to-1. 1-to-1 function. We'll take some examples, but before that you can take it down. ඊට කලින් මට පොඩි කාරණයක් දෙයක් කියන්න තියෙනවා. එකක් විශේෂයෙන්ම මට පොඩි අවුලක් වුණා මේ මම ළමයි මම පොවා පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. Good morning සචින්. මම අර මෙතර කල් පාවිච්චි කරා පොඩි මොකද්ද මේ ගොබ ෆෝන් එකක් ඉලක්කම් ඔබද මගේ වැඩ මම කම්පියුටර් වලින් ඉන්නේ කරන්නේ. මට කම්පියුටරෙන් බැලුවම මේවා ලස්සනට හොඳට පේනවා මම මේ ලියනේවා. මේ ඊයේ පෙරේද තමයි ෆෝන් එකක් ගත්තේ. ඒතකොට තමයි මම දැක්කේ මේ කම්පියුටරෙන් බලන ළමයින්ට වඩා ෆෝන් එකෙන් බලන ළමයින්ට ටිකක් පොඩියට පේන්නේ. පොඩි ස්ක්‍රීන් එකේනේ. ඕකොල්ලොන්ට මම ලියනේම මොනවා හරි පේනවා අඩු නම් මට වහාම මේ වෙලාවෙම දැනුම් දෙන්න. හරි? කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මම ඒව මතලා ආයෙ ලොකුවට ලියනවා. හරිද? පේනවා අඩු නම් මේ ලියනේවා ටක් කාලා දැනුම් දෙන්න මම හදනවා. දෙවෙනි කාරණේ මොනවාද මගේ අතින් වීඩියෝස් ටිකක් ඩිලීට් වුණා වැරදිලා. ඒ වලින් වැඩි හරියක් රිකවර් කරා.
එකක් හොයාගන්න නෑ ක්ලාස් නම්බර් 7. ඒක මං අද හවස ආයි කරනවා. ක්ලාස් නම්බර් 7 මග ඇරිච්ච ළමයි ඉන්නවා නම් අද හැන්දෑවේ 6 මාට ජොයින් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මං මේ මෙසේජ් එකක් දාන්නම්. කැමති කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් ඒක මෙසේජස් තුනක් තියෙනවා. හරි අද හවසට මං ඒක කරනවා 6 මාට. 6 මාර දැම්මේ ඔය කාටද පන්තියක් තියෙනකෝ 6 වෙනකම්. එකක් ඉවරලා 6 මාර PO එක කරාම ඇතිනේ ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස් එක ඩයිනමික්ස් මම හිතන්නේ එච්චර උලක් වෙන එකක් නෑ. ඕනනම් මම ඒකට නෝට් එකක් හරි දාන්න. තුන්වෙනි කාරණේ අපි මේ හවස්සට පන්ති මාරු කරමුද කියලා ආයෙ ඇහුවා. ආයෙ මාරු කරමු කියලා ඇහුවම ඔයගොල්ලෝ වැඩි දෙනෙක් කැමති වුණේ නෑනේ. ඒ වුණාට ඊට පස්සේ මේ සමහර පේරන්ට්ස්ලා කතා කරලා කියන උදේ ඉස්කෝලේ තියෙනවානේ. ඉස්කෝලේ පන්ති දාලා ඒ නිසා මේ කරදරයි කියලා. ඉතින් ළමයි ඉස්කෝලේ පන්ති දාපු වෙලාවේ මම පන්ති කරන එක හොඳ නෑනේ. එච්චර සදාචාරාත්මක නෑනේ වැඩි. ඒක නිසා අපි මාරු කරමු. හවසට ලබන සතියේ ඉඳගෙන අද හවස පන්ති 6 මාර ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ මම එහෙම කරන එක හොඳ නෑනේ නේද? ඉස්කෝලේ පන්ති දාන්න වෙලාවේ මම පන්ති කරන එක. අපි ඒක නිසා ලබන සතියේ ඉඳලා හවසට මාරු කරමු. ඕගොල්ලන්ට අර ඉවර වෙනකොට රෑ වැඩි නම් මම හවස 5ට පටන් ගන්නම්. 5 ඉඳන් 8ටනේ. රෑට නිදිමත වෙනවා කියවනේ සමහරුන්ට. ඒකට එක විකල්පයක් තමයි මේ මම ටිකක් කලින් පටන් ගන්නම්. 5ට පටන් ගත්තම 8 විතර වෙනකන් යන්නේ. දෙවෙනි එක තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ නිදිමත එන වෙලාවට මම මේ කෝපි කෝප් එක ෆොටෝ එකක් මට පුළුවන් ඊමේල් කරන්න. හරි? ඒක බලුවම නිදිමතයයි. අනිත් එක තමයි 5ට පන්තිය 5 හරි ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඕන කියන 3ට 4ට මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මම හවස වෙන පන්තියක් නැහැ. ඕගොල්ලෝ කැමති ඕන ලාක පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. right දැක්ට මම හිතුවේ 5 හොඳයි කියලා. ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඉස්කෝලවල වෙන පන්ති වල වැඩ තියෙනවා නම් ඉවර වෙලා පොඩි රෙස්ට් එකකුත් අරගෙන 5ට පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. එහෙම කරමු ළමයි නේද? නැත්තම් හොඳ නෑනේ මගේ මට චෝදනාවක් එනවනේ නැත්තම්. ලබන සතියේ ඉඳගෙන අද හවස 6 මාට ක්ලාස් එක කරනවා. that is to recover, right? I am redoing class number 7 which is missing. I lost the video. Anybody wants to anybody can join that, right? But tomorrow evening class number 7 I will discuss composite functions in that. Okay, the lost video. Hari එහෙනම් මේක ලියා ගන්න. So we will take examples from that.
Do you understand this definition, everybody? If gx1 equals gx2 implies for any gx1 equals gx2, x1 equals x2. Under this condition, we say that's a definition, right? G is a function.
What have you written after x1, x2?
This is implies. This implies this. From this, we get this. Make a nigamana. Right? Whenever this happens, then followed by this, right? This should also happen. Under this condition, this arrow, right? Under this condition, we say G is a one-to-one function. One-to-one function. It is denoted by this is here one stroke one function. Erase that part.
There is a give me a minute. X1, x2 belongs to
C. C is the domain. C is the domain of G, and within brackets I wrote x1 not equal to x2. Right? Therefore, G is a one-to-one. G is a one-to-one function. G is a one-to-one function.
elements. Yes.
Yes, my dear. It's an element of. Olel Panthi Liela Purduine. That's this is it, right? Write it like this. It's a Greek letter. Epsilon. Greek letter epsilon. We use that to say x belongs to A. X is an element of A. Okay. Olel Panthi ඔයගොල්ලෝ ලිව්වා. නේද? You're familiar with that. So this is the part I erased. So shall we come to the example? This is the definition, right? This is the definition. Right. Now, here are questions. You have to determine whether this is a one-to-one function or not. Right? To give the answer, first you should have some idea. If you think that it is one-to-one, then you will prove that it is one-to-one. Right? If it looks like it is not one-to-one, you should try to prove that it is not one-to-one. Okay? First you should have some idea whether it is one-to-one or not. Accordingly, you will give the proof. Okay, now my question. Is it a one-to-one at first sight? If you see it like a one-to-one function, then you can try to prove that it is one-to-one, right? Is it one-to-one? What do you think? Yes or no? Just give a yes no answer. It looks like, or you feel like it's one-to-one or not. Can two distinct elements connect to the same? Can two distinct elements in the domain connect to the same element in the range of the codomain? Yes or no? You input two distinct elements, can they produce the same output for this particular function? Oh, Kanaparakariga? What do you see? It looks like no. Amsamali, Sandali saying no. So you mean no, yeah. So my question is, I'm asking it again. My question is it one-to-one or not? Chamita, everybody saying no, no, no. Now I'm asking the question again. Is it one-to-one? Is it one-to-one?
Is it one to one? If yeah, yes, one to one. Yes. Okay. මම ප්‍රශ්න දෙකක් අහුවානේ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ නෝ කිව්වේ කොයි එකටද කියලා මට තේරුන්නේ නැහැ. Okay. Yeah, it is a one to one function. So you should have some idea first, right? Answer yes. Answer yes. Yes, f is one to one. Then you have to prove. How to prove? This is the definition. It says if gx1 equals gx2 implies x1 equals x2, then it's one to one. So let's see if we can prove so. Right? Prove. Say fx1 equals fx2. Fx1 equals fx2. If you can prove that x1 equals x2. If you can prove that x1 equals x2 under this, then that's all, right? So let's see. Fx1 equals fx2 implies fx1 is fx is 3x plus 2. Fx1 is 3x1 plus 2 equals fx2. Fx2 is 3x2 plus 2. 2 get cancelled. This implies 3x1 equals 3x2. You can cancel 3, implies x1 equals x2. And that's all. For this particular function, if fx1 equals fx2, then x1 should be equal to x2. So it is a one-to-one function, right? I'll write another. You can take it down and try the second. You can try the second, right? Let's take it down. Take down this answer and you can try this. Okay, number 2 again. First tell me how you see it. Number 2, is it one-to-one or not? As you see it. Number 2, one-to-one or not?
as you see it.
මොකද කියන්නේ ළමයි? 1 to 1 විමුතු. The others? One to one. Chamitya, Vimutu. Okay. Let's see. Then you can give the proof. Did you write it? If you wrote, you can check the answer. First, you start by saying yes. Yes. X is 1 to 1. Then proof. Say fx1 is equal to fx2. Then you get 1 over 5x plus 3 equals 1 over fx2 is this has to be 5x1 plus 3. fx2 is equal to 1 over 5x2 plus 3, right? Then cross multiply 5x1 plus 3 equals 5x2 plus 3. Yeah, 3 get cancelled. 5x1 equals 5x2. Again, 5 gets cancelled and gives. Sorry. So this implies 1 over 5x1 plus 3 equals 1 over 5x2 plus 3. This implies cross multiplying 5x2 plus 3 equals 5x1 plus 3. We get cancelled. Implies 5x2 equals 5x1. Finally, it implies x2 over x1 equals x2. This is the proof. So I like a third example. You check your answer if it is correct. Okay, now the third. F goes from R to R. Fx equals 2x squared plus 1. What do you think? Is it 1 to 1? If not, give some reason. 1 to 1 or not? If you think it is not, can you give some reason? If yes, just leave your answer as yes. If it is not, you have to give some reason. If yes, you just say yes and then prove, right? If not, you have to say it is not, then prove that it is not. For the proof, you have to give some reason. You are saying no, it's not. So give some reason. One reason is sufficient. One reason. One reason to say it is no. Yatamitya, Vimtu, nothing, no. Can you give some reason? Just one is sufficient. Sandali saying no. No. Okay, I'm going to x1 squared not equal to x2 squared. No, give a particular reason. If it is not, you have to give a particular reason. x1 squared not equal to x2 squared. Give a particular reason. If not, it's sufficient. You give one reason. One some definite values. Yeah. F1 and F minus 1. Samitya. Yes. f1 and f minus 1. So you have to give the answer nicely. You have to write it nicely. Answer. So you are saying no. No, it is not. It is not 1 to 1. Then prove it. Prove. Yeah. අපි චමිත්ත කියන එක ලියමු. Yeah, minus f of minus 1 is equal to, you find f of minus 1, then you 2 into minus 1 square plus 1, so it is equal to 3. Yes. Then find f of 1, 2 into plus 1 square plus 1, that is also equal to 3. So you get the same value. Therefore, so this implies f minus 1 equals f1. F minus 1 equals f1, but so two function values are the same, but minus 1 is not equal to 1. For two distinct values, minus 1 and plus 1, the function values are the same. Yeah, Jasoti is correct. But this is how you write it, right? You should learn how to write the answer. Mata එක example එකක් දෙන්න අපිට. This is the complete answer. It goes from R plus into R. Fx equals 2x squared minus 1. ඉස්සල මේක ලියන්න ඉන්නකෝ. Right, now into this number 4. What do you think? Number 4. It is 1 to 1 or not? Number 1. Number 4 rather. Number 4, 1 to 1 or not? Yes, 1 to 1. Samitya. What about the others? F goes from R plus into R. Fx equals 2x squared minus 1. Samitya says 1 to 1. The others? Yes, somebody. 1 to 1. Yeah, you are correct. Yes, we have to. Yeah. Yeah, you are correct. Then we will prove it. Answer. Yes. It is 1 to 1. Proof. Proof. Now we are going to prove that it is 1 to 1. So let fx1 be equal to fx2. Implies fx1 is 2x squared minus 1 equals 2x1 squared. 2x1 squared minus 1 equals 2x2 squared minus 1. So minus 1 gets cancelled. That implies 2x1 squared equals 2x2 squared. Right? So this implies x1 squared equals x2 squared. But when you get x1 squared equals x2 squared, generally you have to write x1 equals plus or minus x2. Generally, this is what you get, right? X1 equals plus or minus x2. It looks like it's not 1 to 1. But you are taking both x1 and x2 from R plus. You are taking both of them from R plus. Then can it be the case x1 equals minus x2? If you are taking both x1 and x2 from R plus, the domain,
Can it be the case x1 equals minus x2? No, it is not possible. But we write but x1 and x2 are taken from plus. Therefore, x1 cannot be equal to minus x2. So that implies x1 is equal to x2. So it is a one-to-one function. Yeah, your answer is correct. Then concept එක තේරුණානේ නේ one-to-one functions. Yeah, we started the inverse functions, and I told you before introducing the concept of inverse functions, we had to introduce two terms. This is the first one-to-one functions, and there's another. කලින් එකෙත් ඔය proof එකම බෑනේ ළමයෝ. අපි ඒක one to one කියලානේ ඔප්පු කරේ. කලින් එකේ the proof was for the function is one to one. Not one to one. The function make a one to one කියලා පෙන්නන්නේ. In fourth, in the third, we have proven that it is not one to one. If not one to one, you have to give a particular. මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේක කියලා දීලා ඇති. මේ for the logic. දැන් මම කිව්වොත් මේ ලෝකේ ඉන්න කාක්කෝ ඔක්කොම කළු පාටයි කියලා. හරි? Right? මේ ලෝකේ ඉන්න කාක්කෝ ඔක්කොම කළු. All the crows are black. If you don't agree with my statement, do you need to catch all the crows in the world and produce them? ලෝකේ ඉන්න ඔක්කොම කාක්කෝ අල්ලගෙන ඇවිල්ලා පෙන්වන්න ඕනද? If you don't agree with, if you are against my statement, I am saying all the crows are black. මොකද කරන්නේ? If you are against my statement, if you don't like to, if you don't want to agree with me, and if you want to prove that I am wrong, do you need to catch all the crows in the world and catch and show that they are all black or all not? No. If you are against my statement, right?
So it's sufficient you produce only one crow which is not black. අන්නර සතුවත් ඉන්න කෙක් ඕනනම් ගිහලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. The white crow. එකෙක් හිටියම ඇති. එකෙක් පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන් නම් which is not black, so it is sufficient to prove that my statement is wrong, right? In the previous one, in the third, we have proven that the function is not one-to-one. So it's sufficient you give a particular example, some definite values. So we have taken, as Samitya said, we have taken -1 and +1, a particular example, some definite values, right? For -1 and +1, select two selected values. We have proven that, not we, in fact, she has given f of 1 equals f of -1, right? So if you are against, the question is if it is one-to-one. So you are not going to, you don't want to agree with that. You are against that, right? The statement is f is one-to-one. You are against that. So you want to you want to prove that it is not so. To prove that it is not so, it's sufficient to give a particular example, a single example. The single example is you are taking 1 and -1. Okay. What are the main requirements to be one-to-one? Main requirements are these. If fx1 equals fx2, then x1 equals x2. That's the definition. To be one-to-one, the requirement is fx1 equals fx2 implies x1 equals x2. If you want to show that the function is one-to-one, you have to prove it formally. Fx1 equals fx2 implies, yeah, fx1 equals fx2 implies x1 equals x2. That's the definition. That's by the definition. To prove that it is one-to-one, you have to show this. To prove that it is not one-to-one, you give some example. That's sufficient, right? Both, not both. It is one statement. This is one statement. fx1 equals fx2 implies x1 equals x2. This is a single statement. Under this condition, we say it is one-to-one. If fx1 equals fx2 implies x1 equals x2, then f is one-to-one. This is a single statement, right? Not both. Single statement. fx1 equals fx2 implies x1 equals x2. That's what we have proven in this. So it is one-to-one, right? If you want to show that the function is one-to-one, so you will prove this. If you want to show that the function is not one-to-one, you will choose, you will search and find, this is for one-to-one. To prove if it is not one-to-one, find some x1, x2 in the domain such that x1 is not equal to x2, but fx1 is equal to fx2. In our particular previous example, we have taken -1 and +1. They are not equal, and they are in the domains -1 +1 in the domain of f. They are in the domain of f. -1 is not equal to +1, but f of -1 equals f of +1. This is how you show that it is not one-to-one. And this is how you show that it is one-to-one. One-to-one කිව්වම හැම එකටම හරියන්න ඕන. If you want to show that it is not one-to-one, it is sufficient that it is not satisfied for a particular pair of elements. දැන් තේරුණාද? මේ logic. මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට logic ටිකක් උගන්වන්න කිව්වනේ. logic උගන්වන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ syllabus එකේ නෑ ළමයි. හරිද? ඒ වුණාට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දේවල් තේරුම් ගැනීමේ අපහසුයක් වෙනවා without logic. මම දවසක උගන්වන්නම්. මම මේ පාඩම අද ඉවර කරන්න හිටියේ. දැන් ඉවර කරන්න නම් වෙලා මදි වගේ. ලබන සතියේ මේ පාඩම ඉවර කරාම මම logic ටිකක් උගන්වන්නම්. ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ දේවල් තේරුම් ගැනීම ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ වැරද්දක් නෙමෙයි. ලොජික් උගන්වන්නේ නැතුව මැත්ස් උගන්වන්න ගියාම ඔය අවුල එනවා. හරි? මම ඒක මේ දවසක් අරගෙන දවසක් අපි දැන් පැය එකමාරයිනේ කියව කරන්නේ නේ. දවසක් දෙකක් අරගෙන මම උගන්වන්න. නැත්නම් ඔක ලොකු අවුලක් වෙනවා. Okay, take down this. So mathematical logic, be prepared for that. It will be very interesting to learn some logic. I'll teach you in after one more lesson, right? My yantang එහෙම මෙහෙම කියලා තියෙනවා. There are 4 methods of proof, right? Then this is a direct proof. This is direct proof. If you want to show that it is one to one, it's direct proof. If you want to show that it is not one to one, you are giving count examples. මං කියලා දීලා ඇති. Not one to one means you are giving a count example, right? හරි. නැත්තම් මෙහෙම වැඩක් කරන්න පුළුවන් ළමයි. මම තව සතියකින් දෙකකින් යුනිවර්සිටි යන ළමයින්ට ලොජික් පාඩම උගන්වනවා. හරි? ඒක නම් අර මේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට වගේ YouTube නේ මම මීට් එකක් දාලා කරන්නේ. ඒක මම ගැඹුරටම උගන්වනවා. ඒගොල්ලන්ට විස්තර ඇතුව. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කරනවා නම් මම ටිකයි උගන්වන්නේ. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට උගන්වන ටිකක් උගන්වලා තවත් විස්තර ඇතුව ඔක්කොම පාඩම සම්පූර්ණයෙන් උගන්වනවා යුනිවර්සිටි යන ළමයින්ට. ඒක දවස් දෙකක් තුනක් අරගෙන කරනවා. ලොකු ලෙසන් එකක්. මම ඒකේ වීඩියෝ එක දාන්නම් YouTube වලට. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර ටිකක් නෙමෙයි ආසාවක් තියෙනවා නම් පාඩම සම්පූර්ණයෙන් බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. යුනිවර්සිටි ළමයින්ට කරන්න ඉන්නේ මම. ඒගොල්ලන්ට තව දවසක් හෝ දෙකක් තව සති දෙකකින් විතර ඒගොල්ලන්ට පටන් ගන්නවා. ටියුස්ඩේ ක්ලාස් එක තියෙන්නේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් ආසාවක් තියෙනවා නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගොඩාක් දාගෙන බෑ ඒ ළමයි එක්ක. මම ඒක වීඩියෝ කරලා දාන්නම්. එතකොට මේ මට ඒ පාඩම හොඳටම කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒගොල්ලන්ට මම මුලින්ම උගන්වනවානේ. ඒක හොඳද? ඕගොල්ලන්ට වෙනම උගන්වන එකද හොඳ? ඔයගොල්ලන්ට උගන්වනකොට මම අවශ්‍ය සීමාවේ ඉඳගෙන පොඩි පාර්ට් එකක් කරන්නේ. ඒ ළමයින්ට කරනවා නම් ඒ ඔක්කොම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට උගන්වන ටිකත් ඔක්කොම හොඳටම පිළිවෙලට මුලින්ම කරලා තව ඉතුරු ටිකක් වැඩිපුරත් උගන්වනවා. මේ දවස්වල ගෙදර ඉන්න එකේ ලොජික් ටිකක් වැඩියෙන් ඉගෙන ගත්තට වරදක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. කවදා හරි ඕන වෙනවා. අනාගතයේදී IT හරි මැත්ස් දිගට ඉගෙන ගන්න හරි ඉන්ජිනියරින් කරන්න හරි මොනවා කරන්න ගියත් ලොජික් හොඳට දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ. වැරදිලා හරි ලෝයර් කෙනෙක් වෙන්න හිතමු. ඒත් ඕනේ. කොයි විදිහද කැමති? ඔයගොල්ලන්ට වෙනම උගන්වන්නද? අර ළමයින්ට උගන්වන එක මම වීඩියෝ කරලා මේ රෙකෝඩ් කරලා දාන්නද? YouTube එකට. mathematical logic කියලා මම වෙනම ලෙසන් එකක් දාන්නම් එහෙම. කොහොමද කැමති? ඔයගොල්ලන්ට වෙනම උගන්වන්නද? ඒ කට්ටියට කරන ලෙසන් එක වීඩියෝ කරලා දාන්න කැමති. තව සතියක් දෙකක් තියෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට වෙනම උගන්වන්න කැමති? කමන්නේ. මම මේ ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස් පාඩම ලබන සතිය වගේ වුණාම ඊට පස්සේ කරන්න. right. Okay, then we have another lesson. Hari ඔයගොල්ලෝ කැමති විදියට මම ඒක කරන්න. No problem. And then we go to onto functions. Onto functions, right?
So what are onto functions? I'll again draw a diagram and try to explain that. This function f, it goes from a to b. This is the function f which goes from a to b, right? I'm drawing another function g which goes from c to d. Right? So both of them under our definitions, both of them are functions, right? F is a function under our definition, and our definition G is also a function. But look at them closely. Do you notice any difference between them? Hmm? Some critical difference between them? Between the two functions, do you notice any difference? If so, what is it? There are remaining elements in the function f. Yeah, Chamitya. So I suppose that you mean this, yeah, in the codomain, right? In the codomain, yeah. Here the range. This is the range of the function f. This is the range. Range of f is this, but the codomain is much bigger. Codomain is this. In the codomain, you see some elements which are not in the range. So in other words, the range is smaller than the codomain. But in this range of f or the codomain of f are the same. All the elements in the codomain are connected with the domain via the function in this G. Here, some elements are connected, some elements of the codomain are connected with the domain via the function, but not all. There are some elements left out. So in this range of f is not equal to codomain of f. In this range of f is equal to codomain of f, right? If they are equal, in other words, the function covers the whole codomain. කඩාගෙන වැටෙනවා සම්පූර්ණ codomain එකට. That's why we say onto. The function comes onto, not into. Here, the function comes into the codomain. Here, the function comes onto the codomain. So we say this function is onto. If the codomain and range are the same, we say the function is onto. Uh, G is here is G. Range of G is equal to codomain of G. Range of G is equal to codomain of G. So G is an onto function. In this range is not equal to the codomain, that implies G is and G is G is not an onto function. Okay, that's roughly saying. Now we will write it formally. Formally, uh, consider a function g goes f goes from some a to b if on and down through input x that will output fx if range of f is equal to codomain of f, we say f is an onto function. So that's the definition, right? මම තන එක තේරුම් ගන්න කලින් එක තරම් අමාරු නෑ කියලා. So you take it down, then we will come to examples. ඉක්මනට ලියා ගන්නකො. අපි අද මේ ටික පුළුවන් තරම් කව කරගෙන බලමු. පාඩම භාගයට නවත්තන එක ඉතල හොඳ වැඩක් නෙවෙයි. We'll take examples after this. It's very simple, right? If the codomain is equal to the range, or on the other hand, range is equal to the codomain, you say it is onto. If the range is not equal to the codomain, it is not onto. It's that simple. In the left side part, that should be F. This has to be F. Oh.
බලනකොට රැට විතරනේ උදේටත් නිදිමත එනවනේ. එතකොට ඕගොල්ලන්ට දෙන්නේ මට එවන්න කෝපි කෝප් එක. ෆොටෝ එක. Okay, shall we go to examples? This time it is easy. Right. Let's take this. You are asked to find if it is onto or not. So it's very simple. You find you can see the coordinate, right? You can see the coordinate at once, and you can find the range. Then check whether they are equal or not, right? Answer. Uh, we'll write yes or no. Yes or no. Before that, you can find them. Uh, Codomain of f is R. You can see it. And if you find the range of f goes from R to R, and fx is 3x plus 2. 3x plus 2. Uh, this is something you can, of which you can find the range easily. Range is also R, isn't it? To find the range. So you will need them now. So the range is also R. Therefore, they are equal. So our answer, yes, f is onto. Proof, codomain is R, so is the range. Therefore, codomain is equal to the range. So that's all. एक लेसी है, उठा कर दिया करो. You take it down and you try this.
You can try the second and third. Right. In this, you can first find and then give the answer. We first find. You can easily see the codomain. It is R. But for this function, the range is not R. It starts from x squared plus 3, right? It starts from 3. The minimum is 3. And it will go to infinity, including a close interval, close at 3. So they are not equal. So the answer is no. No. F is not onto. F is not. Right? Proof. This is the codomain, this is the range, therefore codomain is not equal to range of F. So it is not onto, right? In this, codomain is seen here. It is R without 0. R without 0. So the range of F, how to find the range of F of a function like this. The same function I have given. Right? Range of this is again R without 0. Right? The range is also R without 0. So they are the same. They are the same. Therefore, answer is yes. F is onto. So therefore, codomain of F is equal to range of F.
හරිද උත්තරේ? ඒක අමාරු නෑ නේ to determine if a function is onto or not. Determine or prove. හරි නේද ළමයි? අපි ටක් ගාලා අපේ ටොපික් එක ඉන්වර්ස් ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස් චුට්ටක් කතා කරමු ඒ ගැන. ටික වෙලාවක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. පටන් ගමුකෝ බලන්න.
Inverse functions. Inverse functions, right? So consider a function which is both one-to-one and onto. I mean both the properties, right? Function is one-to-one and one-to-one, and at the same time it is onto. Consider a function f. It goes from a to b. You input x, it outputs fx, which is both one-to-one and onto, satisfying both the conditions, right? So if we draw it, it will look like this. Can you get something about the domain and the codomain? If a function is both one-to-one and onto, can you say something about the domain and codomain? If there is a function goes from a to b, and the function is both one-to-one and onto, any comment on the domain and codomain? බලන්න මොකද කියන්න බැරිද කියලා. If there is some function which goes from say a to b, the function is both one-to-one and onto. There is something we need to happen to speak about such a function, one-to-one and onto. Equal Hansamali. So equal, my turn make it equal means they have to be equal in the number of elements. In the number of elements, they have to be equal, not set wise, right? The two sets can be totally different, right? But number of elements should be equal. So එක පැත්තක මම මුලින්ම දවස් එක්සැම්පල්ස් කිව්වේ එක පැත්තක ඉන්න පුළුවන් බල්ලා බූරුවා හරකා කුකුලා ඔය ටික. අනිත් පැත්තේ ඉන්න පුළුවන් පක්කුලනවා අඬනවා මොනවාද බලනවා ගොරවනවා ඔය ටික. Two sets are not equal. They will never be equal, but number of elements can be equal. අපි ඔකට A-level syllabus එකේ නෑ හරි වචනේ එක cardinality. Number of elements means the cardinality. Cardinality should be the same, right? I think that's what you meant, Hansamani. Okay, this is a function which goes from A to B. Right? You input some x, you input some x, that will output fx. Right? So number of elements they should be equal, right? Number of elements of A should be equal to number of elements of B. If you have a function which goes from A to B, which goes some function f, which goes from A to B, which is both 1 to 1 and on to. Yeah. Now my question is this, right? Now you input x, it will output fx. Now you inverse the arrows. You inverse the arrows. If you inverse the arrows, will it define a new function? Just inverting the arrows. Will it define a new function that from B to A? Right? So let's inverse the arrows. Will this define a new function? New function which is going from B to A. Under our definition conditions, will it be a function that from B to A? We'll just inverse the arrows. Will it be a function from B to A? Yes or no? Just inverting the arrows, will you get a function back from B to A? Will it define a function formally? Is this another function going from B to A? In short, yes, yes. Everybody saying yes, 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 yes. Correct. Right. Answer is the question, right? Answer is yes. Yes. But what if is not onto?
It means domain and codomain get changed. Yeah, inverted. Like inverted. Reverse.
Yeah. අපි වැඩි විස්තර අද වෙලා නැහැ. අනිත් දවසේ කියමු. දැන්ට මම මේ පොඩි ඉන්ට්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එකක් කරන්න. ඔයා කියන එක හරි. ඔක තව චුට්ටක් විස්තර වෙන්න ඕන. Right? Bintu Hansamali. Yeah. It's like switched. Domain and codomain are switched. It's not sufficient to say that, right? There are more things. Now my question: what if f is not 1 to 1? Not 1 to 1. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's on to, but not 1 to 1. This time, will it be a function? Just reversing the arrows. Reverse the arrows. Function is not one to one. Maybe it's on to, not one to one. Will it define a function? This time, no, no, no. Okay, good. හරි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙනවා කියන්නේ නේ. No. Reversing arrows will not give a function. What if it is not onto? If it is not onto, maybe it is one to one, but not onto. Will it define a function back from B to A? Yeah, to be a function, there can't be elements like this. One element going back, going to two elements on the other side. One element in the domain, then goes to two elements in the codomain. So it can't happen, right? Right. So what if the function is not onto? Reversing the arrows, will it define new function? Will it define a new function back from B to A if the original function is not onto? What if it is not onto? If it looks like this, you reverse arrows, will it define a function back from B to A? This time, what is the answer? If function is not onto, original function looks like this, not onto, you reverse the arrows, will it define a new function? No. Sandali says no. Anita මොකද කියන්නේ? The answer is correct. There can't be, if you define a function from B to A, there can't be element in the domain. This becomes a domain now. There can't be elements in the domain which are left out. So it is not. No. Reversing arrows will not give a function. හරි අදට ඔය ටික ලියා ගන්නකෝ අපි අනිත් දවසේ බලමු. I think you got some idea now, right? Next day we are going to speak about, so if the function is one to one and on to, if the function is one to one and on to, both one to one and on to, so we can reverse the arrows and define a new function, right? So next day we will speak about this new function which is going back from B to A. ඒක ගැන අනිත් දවසේ ඉගෙන ගමු. දැන් ඔය ටික ලියා ගන්නකෝ. මම විනාඩි 5ක් දෙන්න ලියා ගන්න.
හරි right අපි අදට පියව පාඩම ඔතනින් නවත්වමු so we'll take a break some short break and then start applied maths for homework pure maths homework aptitude this time you can do up to the exercise 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 J KL exercise L right aptitude up to exercise L reversing arrows හරි නේද so I fill the board and give you break say now it is 11:45 හරි විනාඩි 10ක බ්‍රේක් එකක් ගන්නකෝ බිස්කට් කාලා තේ එකක් බීලා එන්න ඉන්නකෝ ඇප්ලයිඩ් මැත්ස් පටන් ගන්න හරි PB ලේමාවද ගත්තිය. Now in dynamics, right? Back to dynamics. Last day we learned 4 formulas which can be used for motions in a straight line under uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration formula. These are the formula. V equals u plus At, S equals ut plus half At squared. Number 3. Number 2 is not this. It is V plus u over 2 times t. And number 3 is S equals ut plus half At squared. Number 4 is v squared equals u squared plus 2as. So these are the tools that we have, right? So we explain these things now. Yeah, back in work, right? No stories now. Solve problems. I gave you a question from the tutorial. That you come on page, first page, motion and uniform acceleration. Other mukut ne api ganan hadana. Other vitarane labana subject choti deya igana ganna tiyenne. To second digara ganan hadana tiyenne, right? Okolo balanna okolo uttara harida kiyala. You can check your answers. Number 1, it's very easy. Question number 1, shoot. Number 1, you are given a particle with, I told you, don't forget in applied maths, solve problems, always start by drawing a diagram, right? Everywhere in applied maths, draw a diagram and show the data, then see what to do. Show all the data in the diagram. In a straight line, the particle moves from rest at t equals 0, the speed is 0, velocity is 0 from rest, and acceleration is 2. M is minus 2. So you have to find the distance in 10 seconds. Part 1, when t equals 10, you have to find the distance traveled. And the velocity gained by then. Right, to find the distance, so the displacement first, it's a positive acceleration, distance and displacements are the same. To find the displacement, you can use the second formula. Number 3. In this, we will apply S equals ut plus half At squared. S is the unknown, say some x. U is 0, starting velocity is 0, plus half, acceleration is 2, t is 10 squared. So it is 100 meters, the displacement. मैं आमार ने उत्तर हरिवर्ती बला गंड. Then the velocity. To find the velocity, we can use the first by applying v equals u plus at. At that instant, v will be equal to u. U is 0 plus acceleration is 2 into the time is 10. So it's 20 ms minus 1. මේ ලේසි ප්‍රශ්න මම ලේසි වලින් පටන් ගන්න හැත්තේ ඒ වුණාට ප්‍රවේශයෙන් අහගෙන ඉන්න හැමෝම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට වැරදිච්ච තැන් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් නා මේවා ලේසි වුණාට. Number 2, particle that moves in a straight line acceleration is not given.
crosses a particular point at t equals 0, speed is 5 ms minus 1. Speed is 5 ms minus 1. And after traveling 100 meters, speed is 15 ms minus 1. Now to find acceleration. We know u, we know v, we know s. Need to find a. So the best option is the fourth. The fourth, මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට එදා කිව්වා මෙන්න මේ දෙන්න අපිට කියන්න ඕන carefully. Here we have 5 quantities u, v, a, s and t, right? 5 quantities. Each of the formula contains 4 of them, right? 4 of them. If you apply to any 2 of them, you apply 2 of them and make t the subject, you will get this. So no point of applying 2 formula and solving, because you get the same result by applying one of the other 2. දෙකක් දාලා වැඩක් නැහැ. So that means better you choose one of the other 2. Okay. So if you apply say these 2 and again try to get rid of t, you will end up with this. So no point of applying 2 formula. You apply one of the other 2. Okay. To find acceleration, we can use the 4. V squared equals u squared plus 2as. V is given 15 squared equals u squared is 5 squared plus 2 into a unknown, s is 100. So we get like 200a equals 225 minus 25, 200. So acceleration equals just 1 ms minus 2. Acceleration equals 1 ms minus 2. Acceleration, and then now to find time it takes to move 100 meters. This time given the displacement are 2, s is 100, asked to find t. So we can use the third formula. Once s is given, asked to find t. Use s equals ut plus half at squared. S is 100 equals u is 5 plus half, acceleration is 1, t squared. You can multiply it by 2, you will get t squared plus 10t minus 200 equals 0. So you can factorize it. T plus 20, t minus 10 equals 0. I write here. I'll continue it here. So we get two answers. T equals minus 20 or T equals 10. But this is applied maths. We know that T can't be negative. Minus 20 or plus 10. But T is the time, it can't be negative. So we reject this. But T has to be positive. Therefore, we take T equals 10 seconds only. ආමන් එකම ප්‍රශ්නේ අනිත් පැත්තට අහලා තියෙන්නේ නේ. කමන්නේ. එම ආදන්නකො මට පොඩි වැරදීමක්. Here also it is 100 and here also 100. You should get the same answer T equals 10. එතන පොඩි mistake එකක් වෙලා තියෙන කමන්නේ. ඔය විදිහට ගන්න හදන්න right. මට එතන පොඩි වැරදීමක් වෙලා. 100 දෙනාට වෙන එකක් එකයි දාන්න. Time text. කමන්නේ ඔහොම ලියාගන්න. එතන පොඩි අවුලක් තියෙනවා නේද? Yes, that's what exactly I meant. එහෙනම් චුට්ටක් ඉන්න මම ප්‍රශ්නේ වෙනස් කරන්න. මම පොඩි වෙනසක් කරන්න බලන්න ලේසි නෑ මම වෙනස් කරන එක. එතන මට වෙච්ච මිස්ටේක් එක. ප්‍රශ්න දෙනකොට. I'll change that 100 meters to something, but I have to be careful while changing. Okay, අපි පොඩි වෙනසක් කරමුද then? Instead of 100 meters in part 2, shall we change it to 48? 48 meters කියලා දාගන්න. Part 2. මේක වෙනස් කරගන්නවද ළමයි? Not 100, but 48. එහෙම වුණොත් මම වෙලා දෙන්නම් හදන්න. කක්කාලා. එතන මට වෙච්ච mistake එකක්. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ටක්කලා හදන්න I change to 48 meters, right? Part 2, you have to find the time taken to move not 100 meters, 48 meters. ටක්කලා හදන්න හඳුලා මට උත්තරේ දාන්න. Work it out quickly and show me the answer. Change it from 100 to 48, right? Not 100, 48 meters. Then ටංකල් හදලා උත්තරේ දාන්නකෝ. හංසමාලි අනිත් අය in part 2 change 100 meters to 48 meters and find the time.
quickly and give the answer. මොකක්ද උත්තරේ? You can use that also, the second formula, right? But in the maths class, we will not use that much. අපි තව ටිකක් යනකොට ඒක අමතක කරනවා, right? The second formula, S equals V plus U over 2 into T. That's something you use in the physics class. කමක් නැහැ ඉතින් මේකට දාලා උත්තරේ ගත්තා. But better you use the other one. ඒ formula එක අපි අමතක කරනවා අපි A level maths පන්තියේදී නේ. ඒතර ගණන් ගන්නෑ. The second one, right? It will be better to use the third than the second. What is your answer? This time, with that change, then the quadratic equation is not coming. No, end over. It's not the same quadratic equation, but you will get something that you can solve. It's 10t minus 96. 96 you can break into two factors. 96 you can write 16 into 6. Right, 3 factors. Yeah. When you use the other, you get the answer directly. ඒක තමයි එතන පොඩි වැරද්දකුත් තියෙනවනේ ඒතකොට. Right, මේක පාවිච්චි කරන්න හොඳයි. The quadratic the third formula, right? So the answer is minus 16 and 6, but it has to be positive. So you take a positive answer. It has to be then, the time now has to be, ඔච්චර වෙලා ගන්න ඕකෝ. උත්තරේ දාන්න. The answer I got is 6 seconds, rejecting minus 60. It's 6 seconds, right? So we go to the question number 3. Question number 3. Question number 3. A particle that moves at constant acceleration 2 ms minus 2 in a straight line has a speed 7 ms minus 1 at a particular moment. So t equals 0, u is 7 ms minus 1. Find the time it needs to travel a distance 18 meters. They are given
S equals 18 to find the time, and also the speed, or it has to be the velocity.
No, no, no. First part, 100 meters, you just keep it. I have changed it in the second part, right? To 48 meters. No, my dear. In the first part, you are given 100 meters a distance, right? And you got acceleration equals 1. I have changed only the second part, 100 meters to 48 meters. වැඩි වැරදුනනේ. නෑ නෑ මේකනේ ළමයි වැඩේ. In the first part you are given the distance 100 meters. In the first part you are given 100 meters distance and asked to find acceleration. It is by mistake I have given in the second part again the distance is 100 meters, asked to find the time. ඉතින් first part එකේ උත්තරේ තියෙනවානේ. For part B you have the answer in part A if you take 100 meters again. So that's why I have changed it to 48 meters, but that's in part B, right? Part A, no change in part A. Acceleration we found it is 1. It is still there. ඒකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ මෙච්චර වෙලා ගත්තේ. මම බැලුවා මොකද උනේ කියලා. Only in part B I have changed because for part B my question is senseless. 100 meters giving again. හරි නේද? මං ගානේ දීලා තියෙනවා it travels 100 meters in 10 seconds. No, at 100 meters the speed is 15 meters කියලා part A දීලා මං ආයේ part B වල අහලා තිනවා the time taken to move වැඩ ඒක තේරුමක් නැහැ වගේ. කමන්නේ මොකක් වුණත්. Anyway, දැන් හරිනේ. Right, so let's go to question number 3. එතන මට වෙච්ච පොඩි වැරදීමක් ඇති.
Right. This time acceleration is given, u is given, s is known, asked to find t. So we can again use s equals ut plus half a t square. Part 3. S is 18, u is 7, t plus half, acceleration is 2, t square. So you get a quadratic equation, t square plus 7t minus 9 minus 18 equals 0. Question number 3. And there are factors. T plus 9, t minus 7 equals 0. T minus 2. You get two answers. T equals minus 9 or t equals 2. But this time can't be negative. T has to be positive. Therefore, we take t equals 2 seconds. This is the answer that we take.
මේ ඔයගොල්ලෝනේ හරි ඇති පොඩි ගණන් නේද ලේසි ඒවා. And we need speed also.
To find the speed or the velocity, compare the random velocity speed velocity. Apply v equals u plus at. You get v equals u is 7 plus v equals 7 plus 2 into t. T we found it is 2. So it's 11 ms minus 1.
අඩුපාඩු තියෙනවා නම් හදාගන්න මං හිතන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ වැරදි ඇති කියලා. Expression number 3, then 4.
A particle that starts to move in a straight line from rest, that is u is 0 and t equals 0, travels 19 meters in the 10th second. Question number 4.
Question number 4. මෙතන දෙනකම් මම මොන්ටිසෝරි ගණන් දීලා ඇත්තේ. Number 4. See if you got it correctly. It travels 19 meters in the 10th second, not in 10 seconds. හරිද තේරුම් ගත්තා? It travels 19 meters in the 10th second, right? That's 1 second, the 10th second, not in 10 seconds. So that is from, it travels 19 meters from
9 second to 10 second. 9 second, 9s to 10s. Displacement is 19 meters. So it starts from some point A. At 9 seconds, it's at point B. At 10 seconds, it's at a point C. We are given the distance between B and C, right? In the 10th second.
කවුද ඔක හරියට තේරුම් ගත්තේ? තේරුම් ගත්තා නම් මට කියන්න the answer you got for acceleration. What do you get for the acceleration? අදුපය කියන්න බලන්න. Question number 4. With a little change of question, I like to see how you got it. මොකද හැමෝටම වැරදුනද? කලබලෙන් හදන්න ගිහිල්ලා. So you got to be very careful in mathematics. Read things carefully, think carefully. A equals to Vimutu. Yeah, it can be correct. A equals to, it's a good answer. Can be. It's a nice value too. Most of the value. What about the others? බලමුනේ.
So to find acceleration, we know this distance, but nothing about from A to B. Kavithilaka, say some x. From A to B, the distance we don't know. Some x. We need to find acceleration. It's something about the distances, the time also given. So it has to be the formula s equals ut plus half at squared. But you can't directly apply it from B to C. You can't directly apply it from B to C because we don't know the velocity at B. So when you write s equals ut plus half at squared, if we apply from B to C, U is the velocity at B. We don't know it. But you are given the velocity at t equals 0 at A. So we have to get some use of that. So we will apply the formula from A to B. Formula from A to B. S equals ut plus half at squared from A to B. Uh, A to B motion. For A to B motion, let's apply in this direction. S equals ut plus half at squared. S is just x. U is 0 plus half. A is unknown. Acceleration is unknown, but from here to here, A to B, the time is 9. 9 square. So you get x equals 9 square is 81. 81 over 2a. You get an equation like that with two unknowns. X equals 81 over 2a. One equation but two unknowns. That means this is not sufficient. You need another. How to get another equation? Because there are two unknowns, you need to solve two simultaneous equations. You need at least one more equation. How to get the other equation? කියන්න පුළුවන්ද කාට හරි? ගාන හැදුවා නම් විමුතු or the others also. How to get another equation? Apply for whole journey. Yeah, in short, from A to C. A to C. Neither. Apply for the whole journey from A to C. A to C. A to C motion. Yeah, in this direction we apply the same formula. S equals to ut plus half at squared. S is this time S is A to C. It is x plus 19. X plus 19 equals u is again 0 plus half. A is unknown. This time from A to C, the total time is 10. 10 square. So you get an equation like x plus 19 equals, this part is 0, 100 over 2a. I'll write 100 over 2 without simplifying. 100 over 2a. Equation number 2. Equation number 1, I'll write it close to this. It is 81 over 2a. So you can solve them and find a and x also. Then කරලා දාන්න බලන්න. You have two equations now, two unknowns, two equations. You can solve them easily. You will just subtract. පේන විදිහට විමුතු උත්තරේ හරිනේ. It's going to be, looks like 2. Just subtract 2 minus 1. X will get disappear. You get 19 equals 19 over 2a. So 19 get cancels. A equals 2. ms minus 2. You have to find the acceleration and the distance. Distance traveled in first 9 meters, 9 seconds, that is x. X, you can easily find x by 1. And then the distance is 81 meters. The distance traveled by the particle is 81 meters. $81 meters is the answer for the last part. අපි ඊළඟ ගානට යමු. Then number 5. So the answer to this question number 4, acceleration is 1. The distance traveled in first acceleration is 2. 2 ms minus 2. Distance traveled in first 9 seconds is 81 meters. Question number 5. Question number 5. We draw a diagram and show the data. Question number 5. It's about 2 vehicles. One vehicle is X. We show the data for X. What are the things given about X? The motor car X that travels at uniform velocity 10 ms minus 1. Uniform velocity. Uniform velocity. That means the acceleration is null. A is equal to 0. Acceleration is 0. X, what are the data? Its velocity always is 10 ms minus 1 at some t equals 0. It passes a point P at t equals 0. The second motor car Y. This comes at t equals 0. The second motor car Y comes to the point at t equals 5. Second motor car comes to the point P at t equals 5. It has a constant uniform acceleration, uniform velocity, rather 15 ms minus 1, and acceleration is 0 of that also. Find the time that Y needs to overtake X. and the distance traveled by it from the point, yeah, when it occurs. Say they meet at some point Q after traveling some distance x. They meet at some y vertex. At the beginning, x comes to the point P first, right? X comes to the point P first, so it has some lead then. Hmm? It has some lead because y comes to the point 5 seconds later, right? So as y reaches the point P, x is somewhere here. It has a lead, but the velocity of x is 10 and the velocity of y is 15, much bigger than that. Therefore, y has a y can overtake x after some time. Say x, say x reaches this the point q, where y overtakes this the point at which y overtakes x, right? Say x needs a time t. X needs a time t to reach the point q, right? If දැන් මේ ආගන්න හැමෝම මම ආනෙකට උත්තරේ දෙන්න. If x needs a time, say t seconds, if x needs a t seconds to travel from p to q, if t equals t for x, what is the time that y needs to travel from p to q? If we take it is simple t for the first vehicle x, then what is the time for y to travel from p to q? उत्तर देन බලන්න හැමෝම. If the time taken by x is simple t to travel from p to q, then what is it? What's the time taken by y to travel from p to q, the same distance? ඔය පොඩි දේවල් නිසා තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගණන් වරද්ද ගන්නේ. Time taken by x is simple t between p and q. If both are meet at same distance, is the time taken by them is equal? No. No, definitely not. I'm not asking about the time in your in your clock. I'm asking the time taken. I'm asking the time taken by them individually to travel from P to Q, individually to travel time interval. ඔරලෝසුවේ වෙලාව ගැන නෙමෙයි අහන්නේ. The time interval taken by them to travel from P to Q. We apply මෙන්න මේක ඉගෙන ගන්න හොඳටම ඕනේ. We apply the formula between 2 points, right? We apply the formula between 2 points. So if ඔරලෝසුවේ වෙලාව ගැන නෙමෙයි අහන්නේ. Time spent, right? If t is the times required by x, the time interval required by x to travel from P to Q, what is the time interval for y? කෝත්තර t equals answer. I don't know whether it is correct or not. We will compute it. What is the answer for my question? If it is simple t for x, what is it for y? We have to find this t. අපි බලමු විමුතුගේ උත්තරේ හරිද කියලා. But you have to answer my question first. t minus 5, Vimutu. What about the others?
මොකෝ ළමයි තාම කල්පනා කරනවද මම මේ පොඩි ළමයෙක්ගෙන් අහන ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇහුවා. What is the answer? ඕක කොණ්ඩේ ඇදගෙන දිවලි කාගෙන කල්පනා කරන් තරම් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. Do you agree with Vimtu or you have some other idea? T minus 5, Sandali. I want to see how you understood, right? T minus 5. Sandali says, Anita, you agree or not? Or you have some different ideas? If you take a time interval T for X to travel from P to Q, what will be the time interval for Y? So the answer is correct. The answer is correct, right? Y comes 5 seconds later. 5 seconds later, the time interval to travel from P to Q, it should be less for Y because it has a greater speed. It has a greater speed. The time interval to travel from P to Q between 2 points, right? The time between 2 points should be less for Y because it has a greater speed. So if it is 10 for X, then it's 5 seconds shorter. පස්සේ ආපු එක්කෙනානේ අඩු කාලෙකින් යන්නේ නේද? Y came to the point P 5 seconds later, then the time taken by Y to travel from P to Q has to be 5 seconds short. So T equals T minus 5 for Y. T minus 5 for Y. Got that, everybody? Yeah, these answers are correct from Vimuthu and Sandali. What about the others? You got it now? ඕවා පටල ගන්න බෑ පොඩි පොඩි දේවල්. පාඩමේ තියරි නෙමෙයි ගණන් හදනකොට තියරි හරියට ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕන. ගණන් හදනකොට එන දේවල් හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන. Got you? You got it now? Others? No any doubt? ඔව් වැරදුනොත් මේ ටියුට් එක ඉස්සරහට දෙන ගණන් ඔක්කොම වගේ වර්ධිනවා ඒකයි. Okay, then shall we continue? So it's about the distance and time. You are given U. So we will apply S equals UT. UT plus half AT squared. Say for x between P and Q for the motion from P to Q motion. For P to Q motion, we'll apply in this direction S equals UT plus half AT squared. So S is x. S is x. U is 10. T is t. Plus acceleration is 0, right? So that part will disappear. Acceleration is 0. This whole part will disappear. You get an equation x equals 10t. Right? So we have two unknowns, x and t, two unknowns, one equation, not sufficient. So we have to get another equation, for which we have another option, right? We can apply for vehicle Y to travel from P to Q. For Y, vehicle Y, again from P to Q motion. You can apply the same formula.
in this direction, s equals ut plus half at square. S is the same x. U is 15. T is for y, it is t minus 5. Plus, again, the acceleration is 0. So you get an equation like x equals 15t minus 75. 15 into 5, 75. Two equations. You can solve them and find x and t. That's what we have to find. You can easily solve them. Just subtract. Subtract, you will get rid of x. 2 minus 1. X will disappear. To get 0 equals 15 minus 10. That will be 5t. 5t. 15 minus 10, 5t minus 75. So t equals 75 over 5. So that is here, isn't it? 15 seconds. 15 seconds. විමුතුගේ උත්තරේ වැරදිද එතකොට? මොකද 10 seconds කතාවක් කිව්වේ මේ ගානේද කලින් ගානේද? It's 15 seconds. Not 10, right? Now you know t, you can easily find x, just substitute in 1 or 2. It's easy to substitute in 1. 15 තමයි දාවේ. Okay, then it's correct. So substituting 1, you have to find the distance also. X is equal to 10 into 15, so it's 150 meters. Then question number 6, draw diagram. නම් පොඩක් වෙලා දෙන්නද? 5 minutes. You can try question number 6. ඔයගොල්ලෝ හදේ වල අඩුපාඩු වැරදි තියෙනවා නම් දැන් පෙනේ. මෙන්න මේ time වල වැරදුනේ කියලා. So question number 6, I give 5 minutes. So this is the story. You can show it in the diagram. At the beginning, x has a greater speed, right? Its speed is greater than that of y, but acceleration of y is greater than the acceleration of x. At the beginning, u has a greater speed. Sorry, x has a greater speed, so it's traveling fast. Uh, so it's taking a lead, and the lead will be increasing gradually. But the acceleration of y is greater, therefore the velocity of y is increasing at a higher rate. So at some stage, after a little while, the speeds of them will become equal. Till the speeds are equal, the gap between them increases. The lead of x increases, right? But since the acceleration of y is greater, at some stage the velocities become equal. After that, instant, the velocity of y will be greater than x and further increasing, right? So after that instant, the gap will be gradually decreasing, and at one stage, y will be able to overtake x. That's what happens, right? For some time interval, x leads and the lead of x increases, right? So after that, the speed of y becomes greater, the lead becomes smaller and smaller, right? Getting smaller and smaller. So after a while, y will be able to overtake x. So this is the story. The same formula we have to apply, but now the situation is different. The equations we are going to get can be different. X equals 12t. Now the time interval is the same for both of them, right? To travel from P to Q. If it is T for capital X, it has to be the same T for Y also. Plus half 2t squared. This is what you get applying for X. Then let's apply it for Y. For P to Q motion in this direction, apply S equals ut plus half at squared. What you get is the same x, the distance travel is the same x, but u is 8, t is the same, plus half, acceleration is 3, t is the same. These are the equations, two equations I get. You should get these two equations. Then we can try to solve them. But first of all, your equations have to be correct. Check the equations.
If equations are correct, then you can solve them.
Let's subtract to get rid of x. You can easily get rid of x by subtraction. X minus x 0, 20 minus 80, 40 plus, take half out, 2 minus 3, so it's minus t squared. It's easy to solve. So you get an equation like t squared minus 8t equals 0. Can take t out. T minus 8 equals 0. T equals 0 or t equals 8. But we know that the time t cannot be equal to 0. So it has to be equal to 8. But t has to be greater than 0. Therefore, t should be equal to 8 seconds. So they meet after 8 seconds. So that's when y over x. We found the time t, then we need to find the distance also, x. So let's apply t here to find the distance travel. Let's apply it in 1. Substitute in 1, you get x equals 12 into 8 plus 2 and 2 cancel, 1 into 8 squared. So x equals 96 plus 64. Now you get a nice answer. It's 160 meters. 160 meters.
ඔටික හරියට ළමයි උත්තර ආවද? කවුද ඉන්න අය? සඳලී විමුක්තු අන්සමාලා දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවානේ. You got these answers, Vimutu? What about the others? Yasodi. මොකද උනේ? තනියම අඳනකොට වරද්ද ගත්තා. දැන් අඩු ගානේ හදාගත්තද අඩුපාඩු. You got it now. හරි නේද එහෙනම් ළමයි අපිට මේ we have no enough time to discuss the other 3. We discussed up to 6. In the tutorial you have 3 more, 7, 8 and 9. Will you try them again for homework? Manari adupadu tiyanawa nan, you can correct them. You can try them again and check your answers. So we will discuss them next day and go to the next topic, vertical motion under gravity. We can do it next day. එහෙනම් අදට උතනින් නවත්තමු. තව ගානක් හදන්න වෙලා නැහැ නේ අපිට නේද? ඕකේ. එහෙනම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ හැමෝටම උත්සාහයි. අපි ඊළඟට ආයි කවදද සඳහා හම්බෙමු. සඳහා හවස right? සඳහා හවස. අද හවසත් පන්තියක් තියෙනවා අර මග ඇරිච් එක. නැති වීඩියෝ එක. ක්ලාස් නම්බර් 7 වීඩියෝ එක මම කවර් කරනවා. අවශ්‍ය කෙනෙක් ඒකට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න 6:30. පියෝ පාඩම විතරක් කරමු. ඇප්ලයිඩ් එක එච්චර ඕන වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Composite functions we will do in the evening today, right? I am redoing it. හරි. එහෙනම් ලබන සතියේ නම් හවස් වරුවේ පන්තිය හම්බෙමු. හැමෝටම බුදු සරණයි. Oh, no, you just send me to which month or to how many months, right? Then I will mark it here. No need you to. Just tell me for how many months and whom. I don't know whom paid or not, right? Then just tell me, I'll mark it.